Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is going to be a very informative one. I hope that does not make you want to click out of this video um, because the topic of today's video is going to be on the 2024 Met Gala. If you are into fashion, if you're a fashion girly like me, then you know what the Met Gala is. But for those that don't know, I'm gonna run down, what it is, just like a brief explanation of what it is. And we're gonna go over all of the details for this year's Met Gala. Um, and I also want to say that as a fashion major as well. Like it was what I studied in college. The Met Gala is something I personally look forward to every year. And I wanted to do this video because one, I've never done a video on the subject of the Met Gala before. And I figured, why not? And two, because this year's theme in particular really caught my interest so enough to want to make a video about it. So I'm actually really excited to get into all the details about it. So grab your popcorn. All right, we're gonna sit down and have a little chat. Okay, and I guess without further ado, let's get into the video. So obviously I have my notes here with me. But before I get into this, I want to just briefly explain what the Met Gala is for anyone out there that may have stumbled across this video and doesn't know what it is, or maybe for those that are very familiar with what the Met Gala is but don't really know what it's for. So the Met Gala is essentially a fundraiser charity event for the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. So, plain and simple. And this museum displays a lot of fashion pieces, a lot of archival fashion pieces that are, old and um, basically only meant to, at this point, be displayed in a museum. Or even pieces that are very, um, you know, famous or well known by popular designers, famous designers all around the world and whatnot. So, that is what the Met is. The Met Gala is. And every year they have it. It always takes place in May, or all right, the time frame is always in May. And there's always a dress code, there's always a theme, and there are always celebrities invited to, display fashion, for the event, but also, donate money, of course, to the museum. And then there is I guess the whole thing is, what am I trying to say? The whole thing is broadcast by Vogue. So, yeah, except nobody, at least the night that the Met Gala happens, nobody knows what it looks like on the inside. It is always a secret. And so is the guest list. That is also always a secret. Nobody knows who will be attending. However, um, there are always chair people that are kind of like, I guess, like the hosts for the night every year. It's always someone different, multiple people, you know what I'm saying, for the most part. But those are known to the public, as those are, kind of broadcast like, oh, this year's, co-chairs or whatever, or hosts for this year's Met Gala are so and so, blah, 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 blah. But as far as like the guest list of everyone else that appears, that is always a secret. And nobody, like I said, knows what it looks like on the inside either. But, once the Met Gala, happens, it is, a available to the public to, go into the Met Gala Museum, or not the Met Gala Museum, go into the Metropolitan Museum of Art and, look at the exhibit. But the night of the Met Gala, it's a secret. So anyway, I hope that pretty much summed it up for anyone that didn't know. But yeah, I'm ready to get into these notes though. Y'all know I love me some notes. Y'all know I do. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get into these details now. Okay, so we're gonna kind of go through the when, why, what type of, deal with this, how we're gonna go through this, okay? The when. Like I mentioned, it always takes place in May. This year, the Met Gala is going to be on May 6th, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So what is that? Eastern Standard Time, I want to say that's like 8 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I'm gonna double check that in editing. When I'm editing this video, I'm gonna double check what that would be in Eastern Standard Time. But which is the time zone I'm in. I'm in Eastern Standard Time. But anyway. But yes. So I'm actually posting this video the day before the Met Gala happens, which is why I am posting this video when I am, because I want you guys to get all these details before you decide to watch it the next day. And, you could be up to speed on, all the details for it. So yeah, Monday, May 6th, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I'll put on the screen what it would be for Eastern Standard Time so that anybody watching on the East Coast will know what that is. Okay, now to talk a little bit about the exhibit. So the exhibit itself that is being displayed in the museum, this year's theme, which there's always a theme every year, this year's theme is Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion. So I'm going to kind of go more in depth about that a little bit later, but that is what the theme is for this year's exhibit in the museum. However, I guess you would say, dress code for the guests, the stars that will be showing up for the Met Gala is the Garden of Time. So that is kind of like the theme / dress code for who will be attending Garden of Time, which also has a lot of literary background behind it, which I'm going to get into also. I'm just kind of, excuse me if I sound kind of nasally. I don't know why. But I'm telling you, I have so much of this. I'm going to get into like the details of the exhibit and the details of the dress code. In regards to, like, I guess I would say the what's the word I'm looking for? Inspiration behind both. Okay. Now, if you're wondering, well, how do I watch it? Because like, where do I go to see? Since it's not like this event is available to the public, in regards to like going and seeing it, it's not like it's a concert, you know what I'm saying? It's a charity gala. However, you can watch and tune in on the live stream on Vogue.com. Like I mentioned, Vogue, covers the whole event. So, you know, that's how you will watch it essentially. And I will put the link down below in the description so you can just click on it. Like, I don't know, maybe if you're like, well, I don't know where I'll put the link for you. It's okay, baby. I got you. So, yeah, but just Vogue.com is where you can watch the live stream of the gala. There's always a I guess you would call them like correspondents and co-hosts for the Met Gala that kind of talks you through the whole night, interviews the celebrities, and all that jazz. And this year, it will be Lala Anthony, who is not new to this. She's done it before many times, actually, which I will put pictures up of everyone that I mentioned in this video, by the way. So Lala Anthony, who is, of course, a very well-known and famous actress and TV personality, as well as Ashley Graham, who, again, another very well-known person, famous face, very well-known model. And then returning for another year, Emma Chamberlain, which everyone knows from YouTube, is going to be also a correspondence. So yeah, that is who you can expect to see talking to the celebrities, interviewing the celebrities at the Met Gala this year. And now the chair people for the event this year, who will be, you know, I guess what you would say, they will be the first people, one, that you will see in the, event, walking up the, famous Met Gala stairs. But they are the chair people for the event this year. Zendaya, who has been taking the world by storm lately with challengers, and I mean, everybody loves Zendaya. I personally love Zendaya. She's just, I mean, she's so super talented. I mean, Dune 2, and she's been very busy this year so far. Very busy. And now, for the first time ever, she will be a chairperson for this year's Met Gala, which, I mean, about time. She slays with every look she does. I mean, her and Law Roach just do they do. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm very, needless to say, very excited to see what she will be bringing this year for the Met Gala, because all of her Met Gala looks have been absolutely stunning. Another one, J Lo, who is not, a stranger to this either. I believe this is her 13th Met Gala. If I believe I read that correctly, if my memory is serving me correctly, I think this is her 13th Met Gala that she's been to. So she's been doing this for a long time as far as like attending. But she is going to be a chairperson this year. Bad Bunny as well. Everybody knows Bad Bunny. If you don't know Bad Bunny, very famous and loved Spanish artist, very popular in the world of, that genre of music. So yeah, and I mean, just loved by all, actually. So, but his music is, yeah. So yeah, Bad Bunny, who has attended the Met Gala before and is very much piqued interest for a lot of people in the world of fashion, actually, as he's not afraid to like take risks. So I am actually intrigued to see what he brings as well. And then lastly, Chris Hemsworth, one of the Hemsworth brothers, also known as Thor. Also his first time. So I am very much intrigued by him being a chairperson for the Met Gala, because is he beautiful? Absolutely. Absolutely, totally. However, he doesn't scream fashion to me. So I'm very interested to see what he brings. And I really hope that whoever, is making his look for that night does him justice, because, like I said, he doesn't scream fashion. But that's the cool thing about the Met. It can just, anyone can be there. So and then of course Anna Wintour. Um if you don't know who Anna Wintour is in the world of fashion, I I want you to pause this video and go look it up. Like, look her up. Look her up now. I mean, if you even know what Vogue is, you know who Anna Wintour is. So, you know, the I'm a I'm not even gonna waste my breath explaining who Anna Wintour is. I'm gonna let You go find out who it is if you don't know. And also, one, I'm going to mention this, The Devil Wears Prada. If you know, you know why I'm mentioning that movie, Devil Wears Prada. Connected to Anna Win. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So, just to get into now the exhibit. So, I know that I mentioned the name of the exhibit is Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion. Now, you may think straight out the gate, oh, Sleeping Beauty, Disney, princesses, blah blah blah. No. Mm-mm. Wrong, honey. That is not the inspiration. Excuse me. That is not the inspiration behind this. They stated, and I got all my research straight from Vogue, okay? That rather it being, you know, inspired by, like Disney princesses or whatever. That's not it. It's more so a celebration of clothing and fashion that is so fragile that like it can't even be worn anymore. Therefore, it is basically being put to rest almost, like hence the sleeping beauty aspect of it, you know what I'm saying? Because these are nevertheless beautiful pieces that will be, displayed, but you know unfortunately, while beautiful, so old that they can't, and so fragile that they can no longer be enjoyed, you know what I'm saying, the way that, we enjoy clothes and, fashion. So, yeah. And some of these pieces are that are going to be displayed are going to be dated as back as, to the 17th century. So some of these pieces will be accompanied by, current technology like AI and stuff like that to really help to cater to, I guess, the piece, um so it can be enjoyed in its, I guess, like best possible way, since it isn't in its full glory anymore, it's a sleeping beauty, but so um but yes, dated back to like 17th century, like English Elizabethan like era, you know what I'm saying? And also embodies the beauty of the natural world, its fragility and inevitable decay. The theme for the exhibit. So it kind of has like I personally like the theme because it has beautiful aspects of it, and that it's very realistic, like fashion is very fleeting, clothing is very fleeting, and while, the world we live in today, fast fashion has consumed the, industry, there was a point in time where pieces of clothing were more than just, a fleeting thing. They were a form of status, they were a form of wealth, they were a form of beauty, you know what I'm saying? And with some of these pieces being so fragile, because of time, they, are unfortunately now only able to be enjoyed visually. Um, so, but that to me is still very exciting. Fun fact, one of my favorite courses that I took when I was in college was actually fashion history. And I hate history. Truly, I do. But fashion history is so much more interesting because to know how people dressed decades and decades ago and why they dressed the way they did. It's mainly the why, It's so interesting to me. So, yeah. I really love this. It feels very realistic while also um being, I guess, respectful to those times, that these pieces are coming from. And that it is simply that we want to be able to enjoy them still, and give them the love and respect that they did even when they were in their full glory. So yeah, that's just a little bit about the theme of the exhibit. And one last thing about the exhibit, there will be like more modern and, I guess, less delicate pieces displayed in the exhibit. Those pieces will be segmented off into subcategories: land, sea, and sky. So that is also a very interesting thing that they're doing, having like the sub themes within the, like, umbrella theme of the Sleeping Beauties reawakening fashion. So, which I think perfectly ties into the dress code theme of Garden of Time. I mean, if they ever had a more like corresponding dress code, oh my goodness. This one is really just so good to me. I think it's amazing. So just to get into the dress code now. The theme is inspired by famous author J.G. Ballard's short story of the same title, written in 1962. So essentially, the theme of the novel, Garden of Time, is kind of taking place in this dystopian setting. It is about a husband and his wife. They live very lavishly, with gems and art and all these finer things in life that they have. However, outside of their, I guess, like, villa walls is civilization basically coming for them. um and they have this garden that is filled with, beautiful crystal flowers, and they cut the flowers, and as they do it, they are given like time back. So it's almost like they are time traveling with every flower that they cut, and so that they can keep civilization from getting closer to them, so they have more time, you know what I'm saying? But by the time, they cut the last flower, and civilization finally, breaks through and gets to them, and they have turned into statues in time. So it's a very interesting book. I might have to read it. This was just the synopsis of the book that I read. So I think that, with that being said, the theme of the dress code being Garden of Time is very interesting. And I personally feel like it can be interpreted many different ways. And I I wrote down how I predict the dress code will be predicted. I'm sorry, not predicted. Interpreted. So, one, I think that this could be taken very literally. So, meaning like the title, embracing the garden aspect, or embracing the time part of it. Now, people can interpret the garden part of it by simply, wearing pieces that are very much, inspired by, florals, nature, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the design of their garments, whether it have I guess, some kind of floral aspect to it, nature aspect to it, leaves or, palms or uh vines or whatever, you know what I'm saying? A literal garden feel to the piece. And then the time part of it, one could get very camp or very kitschy in how they decide to style or whoever designs the piece that a guest is going to be wearing. Like their look can be very literal with the theme by, I mean, for crying out loud, they could have like literal flowers like that's how the Met works. Like you wear extravagant pieces like that. So like imagine someone shows up in literal like flowers. And the time part, I think that can be interpreted by decay. So like if they wear something that, you know, maybe has dead flowers, I don't know. It could be anything. Or it could just be nature inspired in general, not even just, like flowers, but just like how there are the sub themes of the exhibit, the land, sea, and sky. One can be inspired by that as well. So, because that is still nature. Um and like I mentioned, materials used. So, like how I mentioned about the flowers, like if, someone decides to literally wear a garment or a piece that is made of actual, nature. I mean, from the material that's used, maybe they are using like natural fibers, natural fabrics like silk or wool or um cashmere or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it might be a little hot for that, but you know what I mean, like instead of a synthetic fiber, like polyester or I don't know, like a tulle or chiffon, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Um, or the pattern and the print, could be inspired, maybe like it's a pattern or a print that's inspired by, nature itself, or has a design to it, the cuts in it, like I know that there was this one piece that I saw on Vogue where it was like a dress where the layers of the dress were cut to look like petals. So you know what I mean? Like it could be something like that. Um or even wearing a completely like archival piece. From like a collection from years and years ago. That could be a good play on the theme in regards to the time part and even tying in with the theme of the exhibit. And that what they are wearing is literally fleeting fashion because it's archived. And then last prediction that I, feel like will be interpretation for the dress code is literally like going in something that looks distressed or deconstructed, you know what I'm saying? Another play on that time part, the fleeting, part of it, that I mean over time fashion gets worn, it goes through wear and tear. So like they can play on that by representing that whole like decay part of fashion, um even down to like how they may dye the fabric, as fashion gets worn, color fades. So, like it would be so nice if somebody showed up in a piece where the color goes from super saturated and beautiful to just this like muted, like you know what I mean? Like it could be something like that. So, that's a prediction of mine that I feel can be interpretations of how the guests may show up in their garments, whatever they wear, with whoever they have collaborated with, designer wise, for the Met Gala. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these predictions. Do you think that they're good predictions? Do you think, you might hate it? Like, do you love it? I'm interested to see what you guys think. And with that being said, you guys, that is the video. I know it's kind of a quick one, and I know it was, a lot of talking, but I love videos like this where I get to inform you guys about stuff that's going on in the world. I have a lot of opinions, and I have a lot of, things that I'm interested in, and this is one of them. And I feel like with this being such a huge event that happens every year, I really wanted to take the time, on my channel to do this. Who knows, maybe this can be a regular thing. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. Of course, like and subscribe if you aren't already. And yeah, I'm so excited. Don't forget, link will be down below to go and watch the Met Gala. It will be available even if you missed the live stream, and you can even look at their TikTok and their Instagram to keep up with everything, as they post on those as well, because TikTok is a sponsor of the event. So you can watch as well there too and keep up with what's ever going on, through the correspondence. Okay, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.